Spain travel insurance. Cheap versus expensive insurance. One tourist lost €4,000 hook. Two tourists arrived in Spain on the same day. One bought the cheapest travel insurance he could find, the other paid slightly more for proper coverage. 3 days later, both ended up in the hospital, but one walked out safely, while the other received a terrifying €4,000 medical bill. €4,000 mistake in Spain. Introduction. Traveling to Spain feels exciting. Beautiful beaches, historic streets, cheap flights, perfect weather. Every year, millions of tourists visit Spain thinking nothing will go wrong. But many travelers make one dangerous mistake before boarding their flight. They buy the cheapest insurance possible, not because it protects them, but because they only want visa approval. And sometimes, that decision becomes the most expensive mistake of their trip. Today's story compares two travelers. Same country, same vacation, same emergency, but completely different endings. And what happened next shocked everyone. Meet wanted to save money. Before traveling to Spain, he searched online for the cheapest travel insurance available. He found a policy for only €9. It looked official. It had documents. It even mentioned Schengen coverage. So Adam thought everything was fine. The second traveler was Daniel. Daniel spent more time reading the insurance details carefully. His insurance cost €42, more expensive, but it included emergency medical treatment, hospital support, ambulance services, and 24-hour assistance. At first, Adam laughed at Daniel. "Why pay extra?" he said. "It's just insurance." But 3 days later, everything changed. Begins. Both tourists arrived in Barcelona. The city was beautiful. Music filled the streets. Tourists crowded the restaurants. Everything felt perfect. They explored famous places, tried local food, and enjoyed the nightlife. For a moment, both believed this would become one of the best trips of their lives. But on the fourth night, something unexpected happened. After dinner, both travelers suddenly became seriously sick. Severe stomach pain, dizziness, vomiting, and difficulty breathing. At first, they thought it was food poisoning, but the pain became worse every minute. Then, someone called an ambulance. Hist's tourists already turned treatment. What tests, medication? Everything happened very fast. At first, both men felt relieved. They believed insurance would handle everything. But then, the hospital staff asked for insurance information. Daniel gave his documents confidently. The hospital quickly contacted his insurance provider. Everything was approved within minutes. But Adam's situation became very different, very quickly. Shocking problem. Adam handed over his cheap insurance papers. The hospital checked the policy carefully. Then the receptionist looked worried. His insurance company only covered limited emergencies. Certain treatments were excluded. Ambulance support was missing. And the coverage limit was extremely low. Adam became nervous. "What does that mean?" he asked. Then came the terrifying answer. "You may need to pay the hospital costs yourself." At that moment, panic hit him. Because the treatment had already started, and the bill kept growing every hour. Comparison. Two completely different experiences. Daniel's insurance company arranged everything smoothly. Hospital communication, medical approvals, medication support, even translation assistance. He focused only on recovery. Meanwhile, Adam spent hours arguing with hospital administration, phone calls, emails, stress. His insurance provider stopped responding, and the real problem started later. The hospital informed him that emergency observation alone cost more than €1,800. The ambulance added another €700. Medical scans increased the total again. Suddenly, his total bill crossed €4,000, and he still hadn't been discharged. Cheap insurance equals huge risk. The hidden truth about cheap insurance. Many travelers believe all travel insurance policies are the same, but that is completely false. Cheap insurance often hides dangerous limitations: low emergency coverage, no ambulance support, no direct hospital payment, No emergency hotline. Some policies only exist to satisfy visa requirements, not to truly protect travelers. And most tourists never realize this until they face a real emergency abroad. That's why some travelers lose thousands of euros despite having insurance. The policy exists, but the protection does not. And sadly, this happens more often than people think. Financial pressure. Adam's vacation was destroyed. Instead of exploring Spain, he spent days calculating hospital costs. He contacted friends for emergency money. His bank account dropped quickly. Stress became worse than the illness itself. Meanwhile, Daniel recovered peacefully. His insurance covered almost everything. He paid only a small amount for medication, less than 50 euros total. Same city, same hospital, same illness, but completely different financial outcomes. Common tourist mistakes. And that difference came from one decision made before the flight. Many travelers repeat the same dangerous mistakes. They buy insurance without reading details. They choose the cheapest option immediately. They ignore emergency coverage limits. They assume Europe means free healthcare. But tourists are not covered like citizens. In many countries, hospitals can demand payment immediately, and some emergencies become extremely expensive, especially for ambulance services, emergency surgery, overnight hospital stays, medical scans, specialist treatment. One small accident can destroy an entire travel budget. What good insurance everything?
A proper travel insurance policy should include emergency hospital treatment, ambulance coverage, 24-hour emergency support, direct payment to hospitals, medical evacuation if necessary,
And clear claim support. Before traveling, always check the maximum coverage amount. Many experts recommend at least 30,000 euro emergency medical coverage for Europe. Also verify exclusions, waiting periods, pre-existing condition rules, emergency contact availability. Because during a real emergency, small details become life-changing. But that cheap insurance decision became the most expensive mistake of his trip. Daniel paid slightly more before traveling and avoided financial disaster later. That's the hidden truth many tourists ignore. Cheap insurance feels smart until something goes wrong. And emergencies abroad happen faster than people expect, especially in unfamiliar countries, especially when nobody is prepared. The other returned countries that she continued described today. The other returned countries that she consumed despite the trip. Fear. Spain gave both travelers the same beautiful vacation and the same dangerous emergency. but only one returned home without debt. The other returned with stress, fear, and thousands of euros in medical bills. Travel memories should last forever. Hospital debt should not. Don't risk your trip. If you travel internationally, always understand your insurance before flying, because one small mistake can become a massive financial disaster. Subscribe now for more travel safety stories, visa updates, insurance warnings, real tourist mistakes. And before your next trip, read your policy carefully. It could save you thousands.